Hello. Hello. Apologies for sending out the link so late. So I hope you got it okay. I was totally out of the swing of needing to do that. It's been a while. So I really hope you're all well. I really look forward to the day when we can meet together in the same room and catch up with just general news and what everybody's been up to. It's quite a rainy day here. We've had fabulous weather and now we've got lots and lots of rain here today. So I don't know if that's the same in East Lothian, Mid Lothian, wherever you're attending the session from. Do say hi. Do let me know who's there. And it just gives a little bit more of a sense of us being there together. So let's get started. I'm going to stand, just adjust my camera. So standing, sitting, whatever's most comfortable for you. And you can obviously switch between the two, stand for a little if that works for you, and then sit or sit the whole time. Totally up to you. And just a reminder that you're in charge. You're the expert on what works for you. So please don't do anything that, if I suggest something and you know that doesn't work for you, adapt it, change it, do something differently. Don't do anything longer than feels comfortable for you. So it's a matter of pushing yourself maybe just a wee bit, but not too much, and certainly not into pain. Hi Senga, lovely to see you. Hi Joan, lovely to see you as well. Or lovely to know you're there. I can't see you, of course. So we're going to start by just grounding ourselves. So if you're standing or if you're sitting, just really feeling the connection between your feet and the earth below, the wonderful earth that nurtures us, supports us. So I'm just naturally swaying a little from side to side. So maybe join me in doing that, just gently. Please don't send yourself flying. So just really feeling that connection going down to the earth. And you might want to imagine roots coming out the soles of your feet, lots and lots of roots, really anchoring you down. And maybe just swaying slightly backwards and forwards. Just really feeling the weight shift from the heels of the feet through the balls of the feet, right up to the tips of the toes. So every little cell on your feet is making contact with the earth below. And then as we breathe out, coming to stillness now, imagining as the breath goes out, just imagining those roots going all the way down through the floor, through the rocks, through the soil, all the way down to the center of the earth. And then as we release at the belly and let the air drop in, imagine we're drawing up heat from the center of the earth and lengthening slightly, lengthening down the sides of the body and lengthening up the spine, keeping the chin nice and relaxed and the knees soft and unlocked. So as we breathe out, roots going down, but not collapsing, not letting go of any of that length. And as we let the air drop into our lovely round bellies, round like the earth, just seeing if we can lengthen slightly through up the sides and up our spine. So just doing that for a few more breaths in your own time. And let's just check in with our shoulders. It's always a good place to start. Bringing them up to our ears and back and down with a little sigh. Ah. And just noticing how that is now across the chest. Now we've brought the shoulders back and down. So let's go again. Shoulders up to our ears. If you feel like coming into a yawn. And as you bring the shoulders down, remembering not to collapse, keeping that length up the sides of the body, up the spine. So let's go again. Shoulders to ears rather, and a bit of a yawn if one comes. Lovely. And we've got a theme for the next few sessions of gardens, growing and food. I don't know if any of you grow food in your gardens or ever have. We've got loads of courgettes at the moment coming in our garden. Got courgettes, chard, kale, runner beans, broad beans. There'll be potatoes pretty soon. Tomatoes coming, they're not ready yet. Yeah, so it's quite, and salad. It's quite a prolific time in the garden. So we thought it'd be nice to celebrate that. And even if you don't have a garden, just to connect with that sense of growing and gardens. So following on that theme, we're going to imagine we're picking apples. It's not quite apple picking time yet, but we're reaching up with one arm, nice and softly, reaching for a lovely ripe apple, a little twist, and we're bringing it back and putting it in our lovely woven willow basket. And we're doing this really softly and gently. It's a magic apple tree, and the apples only come off if we pick them really softly and gently. So we're reaching up with one arm, feeling that stretch all down the side, just as much as is comfy. Picking an apple, popping it in our magic basket, and then reaching up the other side. Stretch all down this side of the body, stretch up the arm. Little twist, and softly and gently. And see if you can do it slightly more softly each time. So softening through the bones and the body. So there's no big effort, just a gentle stretch. And then we're going to build in our own little personal apple picking song. It's a bit like Pooh and his hums. So just whatever little tune might come to you, very gently and softly, in a little hum. Breathing when you need to. Going up and down a little. One more each side. Lovely. And then just check in once more with the shoulders, check they've not crept forward. It's replacing them back and down. So we're going to enjoy eating one of these apples now. It's beautiful red round apple and it's super juicy. So we're going to take a big bite out of it and get our jaw and teeth and tongue involved. You can make as much noise as you like. Really waking up your jaw. And your face has got a bit sticky, so we're going to turn the taps on. Shh. Get some water and wash all that sticky juice off and really get into our jaw muscle there. Give it a really good rub, a really good squidge. Particularly if you've not done any singing for a while. Really warm it up. Wake it up and loosen it a wee bit. Lovely. And then let's finish by waking our tongue up a little bit, seeing as we're on the face already. So we're going to poke the tongue into one cheek and we're going to write run a bean on one cheek. Lovely. Oh, starting to feel quite tired already. And then we're going to do the same to the other cheek. So really pushing the tongue out into the cheek and run a bean. Lovely. So that's given the tongue a bit of a stretch, a bit of exercise, which is really useful for when we come to speaking some words, singing some words, just waking our tongue up a little bit. So let's imagine just for a minute, as I say, it's quite a rainy day here today, but imagine a few days ago when it was still lovely and sunny, and we're going to relax in our deck chair in our garden under a beautiful tree. So we're going to start with the back of the hands together down around by the pelvic area. As we gently let the air in, bring the hands up to about the breastbone, breathing out, letting the air drop in, bringing the hands up to under the chin, breathe out, and then as we let the air drop in again, rounding the belly, linking the fingers together if this works for you, and seeing if you can just lie back a little on that deck chair, feeling the stretch across your chest, drawing the elbows back ever so slightly if that is comfy for you. If it doesn't work for you, just see if you can get a little stretch across the chest in whatever way works. And then as we breathe out to stretching to the tips of the fingers and bringing the arms all the way gently back down. Lovely. And then let's just give our necks a little bit of attention. So maybe using the knuckles just gently and softly, not kind of really pushing in too hard. Just softening, see if you can allow the neck muscles to soften a little. And then we'll do a few very gentle, soft neck turns from side to side. So thinking, visualizing whatever for you really conjures up softness. Sometimes we've talked about owl feathers. It might be owl, it might be a duck, it might be a swan, whatever bird comes to mind with a super soft feathers. It might be a lovely satin or velvet scarf, whatever really conjures up softness for you. So just very gently turning the neck round to the left. See if you can go as slowly and softly as possible. And then coming really gently and slowly back. All the way around to the other side. See if you can soften, soften, soften. Soften all the way down to the bones. So there's no need to hurry, nowhere to go. Just seeing if we can soften. And then back to the center. And then chin to chest. Getting a little bit of a stretch down the back of the neck. And imagine somebody's lifting a cord in the crown of the head, bringing the head back up to its lovely aligned position. And let's do a few figure of eights with our nose in the air. And back round the other way. Welcoming any creaks that come. And back to the centre. Lovely. So let's check in with our breath. So let's go back to our usual old faithful exercise, our rope exercise. So I've got a loose fist roughly around the navel, around the belly button area. And we're going to breathe out to she, feeling the belly going really gently towards the spine. And then when we get to the end, we're going to release the belly and we're going to breathe out over a count of 6 and we're going to let the air drop in over 4. So I'm going to click and I'll count as well. So after 2, we're going to breathe out to she, any pitch. 1, 2. She, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Release the belly. 2, 3, 4, and again. She, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Release the belly first of all. 2, 3, 4. One more. She, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and release. 2, 3, 4. And just checking in that we're not bringing tension up here when we let the air in, that our breathing is really starting from the belly and all this stays super relaxed. And just to demonstrate that, if you put one hand here roughly on the voice box, so if you're not quite sure where the larynx is, just say something, sing something, and you should feel it sort of moving. So one on the belly. And what we're going to do is breathe out and then do a bit of a forced inhale and just see what we notice up here. So we're going to breathe out to she over 4. She, 2, 3, 4, inhale. And I feel quite a lot of tension here, a lot of muscle activity. So this time we're going to do the same thing as we were doing before. We're going to breathe out over 6 and then release from the belly with our hands still here and see if we can keep all of this super soft and relaxed. So the movement is coming from down here, this lovely round belly. So that releases a nanosecond before we start taking the air in. So after 2, we're going to breathe out to she, choose a different pitch over a count of 6, and then a super relaxed inhale over a count of 4, checking in here and checking in here as well, that the movement's coming from down there. So after 2, 1, 2. She, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Release from the belly. 2, 3, 4. And again. She, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Release from the belly. 2, 3, 4. One more. She, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Release. 2, 3, 4. Lovely. I'd be really interested to hear how you got on with that. Whether you noticed a difference from that initial forced inhale. And what we're aiming for is for most of the movement, as much movement and most of the effort to be coming from down here, this lovely round belly. Say hello to your belly. Give it a little rub. Welcome its roundness. Singers, please loosen abdominal tension. Remember, the splat that I'll try and keep reminding you. Okay, so let's just wake our voices up a little bit. So imagine we're peering over the garden fence. We're a very noisy neighbour. And we go on tiptoes and we go, coo-ee. So let's go 1 and Lovely. Different pitch after 2, 1, 2. Cooey. Down again. One more. Different pitch again. 1, 2. Just imagining you all going outside and doing that now to your neighbours. So we're now just imagining we're at a very posh cocktail party. I know nothing about cocktails, so I don't know what sort of cocktail you might be having, but something that you really like. And you're holding your cocktail and you're going, hello. So you're speaking down your nose at somebody who you meet. Hello. And let's do that once more. Hello. Awesome. Let's do a few bees. So let's do a gentle bee just waking up in the morning. So a bit sleepy, just getting going. And a bee full of honey and sugar, having just had its fill from lots of amazing flowers on a bit of a sugar high. Sad bee because it's come on to rain. And an excited bee. Awesome. We're going to come on to do our tongue twister in a minute, but before that, we were talking about roots earlier, and there's a really lovely little song, My Roots Go Down, that I thought we could do just as a very gentle warm-up song, just to get our voices going. So it's very simple. The first bit is, my roots go down, down into the ground. Let's go 1 and my roots go down, down into the ground. My roots grow down, down into the ground. My roots grow down, down into the ground. And then we have the first line again. I'll do it. My roots grow down, down into the ground. My roots grow down, down into the ground. My roots grow down, and that's the end. My roots grow down. I'll do it call and response again. And remember, at the end of each phrase, just really releasing from the belly. So as I'm singing, just letting the air in, releasing from the belly, and then come in when I do it the second time. So I'll start. My roots grow down, down into the ground. Your turn. And my roots grow down, down into the ground. 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 Your turn. My roots grow down, down into the ground. My roots grow down. My roots grow down. So let's try the whole thing and visualize again our roots really growing down out of the soles of our feet. Lots and lots of roots really anchoring us down and drawing that energy up into our bodies. So we're going back into that image that we went to right at the beginning. My, a 1 and my roots grow down, down into the ground. My roots grow down, down into the ground. My roots grow down, down into the ground. My roots grow down. Let's go. My roots grow down, down into the ground. My roots grow down, down into the ground. My roots grow down, down into the ground. My roots grow down. That's maybe an earworm for you. See how you get on with that, and we'll maybe come back to that next week. So, a tongue twister, proper cup of coffee. I'll put the words in the chat for you. So we'll say it to start with, and then we'll get onto the tune. So I'll say a line first. All I want is a proper cup of coffee. 1, 2. All I want is a proper cup of coffee. You really need to get this proper cup of coffee. 1, let's do that bit. And proper cup of coffee, made in a proper copper coffee pot. Made in a proper copper coffee pot. I'm going to say those one by one again before we do the last one. All I want is a proper cup of coffee. Your turn. All I want is a proper cup of coffee, made in a proper copper coffee pot. And made in a proper copper coffee pot. Tea is never enough for me. Tea is never enough for me, as I want a cup of coffee from a proper copper pot. As I want a cup of coffee from a proper copper pot. I'll do it one more time, call and response speaking. All I want is a proper cup of coffee. All I want is a proper cup of coffee, made in a proper copper coffee pot. Made in a proper copper coffee pot. Tea is never enough for me. Tea is never enough for me, as I want a cup of coffee from a proper copper pot. As I want a cup of coffee from a proper copper pot. Get those mouths, tongues going. So a bit of tune. All I want is a proper cup of coffee. 1, 2. All I want is a proper cup of coffee. I'll do that again, and then you sing after. All I want is a proper cup of coffee. 1, 2. All I want is a proper cup of coffee, made in a proper copper coffee pot. Made in a proper copper coffee pot. I'll do it again. Made in a proper copper coffee pot. And made in a proper copper coffee pot. Tea is never enough for me. And tea is never enough for me, as I want a cup of coffee. As I want a cup of coffee from a proper copper pot. From a proper copper pot. Tea is never enough for me. Your turn. And tea is never enough for me, as I want a cup of coffee from a proper copper pot. As I want a cup of coffee from a proper copper pot. I'm going to do it line by line and you sing after. All I want is a proper cup of coffee, your turn. All I want is a proper cup of coffee, made in a proper copper coffee pot. Made in a proper copper coffee pot. Tea is never enough for me. Tea is never enough for me, as I want a cup of coffee from a proper copper pot. As I want a cup of coffee from a proper copper pot. Should we have a go all the way through? All I want is a proper cup of coffee, made in a proper copper coffee pot. Tea is never enough for me, as I want a cup of coffee from a proper copper pot. 1, 2. All I want is a proper cup of coffee, made in a proper copper coffee pot. Tea is never enough for me, as I want a cup of coffee from a proper coffee pot. Proper copper pot, sorry. 1, 2. All I want is a proper cup of coffee, made in a proper copper coffee pot. Tea is never enough for me, as I want a cup of coffee from a proper copper pot. There. How did you get on? Do let me know how that was. Whether or not you do like coffee, whether or not you've ever had coffee from a proper copper coffee pot. It's a good song. So, Red Apple. Simple little song. So I wrote the tune for this for an apple day at our local community orchard some years ago now. And the words I just found on the internet, it's a kind of traditional rhyme. So it's a very simple little nice song. As I walked under the apple tree, I looked up, and what did I see? It wasn't a blossom, it wasn't a bee. It was a juicy red apple waiting for me. So the first line. As I walked under the apple tree, 1, 2. As I walked under the apple tree, I looked up, and what did I see? I looked up, and what did I see? It wasn't a blossom, it wasn't a bee. It wasn't a blossom, it wasn't a bee. It was a juicy red apple. It was a juicy red apple, waiting for me, waiting for me. I'll do each line again, call and response. As I walked under the apple tree, your turn. As I walked under the apple tree, I looked up, and what did I see? I looked up, and what did I see? It wasn't a blossom, it wasn't a bee. It wasn't a blossom, it wasn't a bee. It was a juicy red apple waiting for me. It was a juicy red apple waiting for me. So let's put the first 2 lines together, and we're going to do those a little bit faster in one breath. So check in with your shoulders again. Check they're nice and back and relaxed. So I'll do it to start with. As I walked under the apple tree, I looked up and what did I see? A 1, 2. As I walked under the apple tree, I looked up and what did I see? So let's do that together again. As I, a 1, 2. As I walked under the apple tree, I looked up and what did I see? And really enjoy that see down there resonating in the chest voice. As I, 1, 2. As I walked under the apple tree, I looked up and what did I see? Second half, I'll do it first. It wasn't a blossom, it wasn't a bee, it was a juicy red apple waiting for me. 1, 2. It wasn't a blossom, it wasn't a bee, it was a juicy red apple waiting for me. Let's do that once more. So it's a lot of up and down. So see if you can just really navigate that. I'll do it again. It wasn't a blossom, it wasn't a bee, it was a juicy red apple waiting for me. A 1, 2. It wasn't a blossom, it wasn't a bee, it was a juicy red apple waiting for me. I'll break that down, so we'll just do half and half again. So it wasn't a blossom, it wasn't a bee, I'll do first. It wasn't a blossom, it wasn't a bee. Your turn. It wasn't a blossom, it wasn't a bee. It was a juicy red apple waiting for me. It was a juicy red apple waiting for me. And remember with these longer notes, keeping the vowel open, me, rather than me. And you swallow half the sound then. Let's see if we've got the whole of that second half from it wasn't a blossom to me at the end. It, a 1, and it wasn't a blossom, it wasn't a bee, it was a juicy red apple waiting for me. So let's have a go all the way through, and we're going to put a pause in the middle so we've got time to really release from the belly and let the air in. Using your hand if that's helpful. As I, 1, 2. As I walked under the apple tree, I looked up and what did I see? Release. It wasn't a blossom, it wasn't a bee, it was a juicy red apple waiting for me. And again, 1, and as I walked under the apple tree, I looked up and what did I see? Release. And it wasn't a blossom, it wasn't a bee, it was a juicy red apple waiting for me. And then we've got an accompanying part that goes under it, that comes in just after the beat. So we go 1, 2. Ba 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 da ba. So 1, 2. Ba 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 da ba. Let's do that again. 1, 2, 1. Ba 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 da ba. Second bit. Ba 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 da ba. Ba 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 da ba. Enjoy it. It's a little bit jazzy. I'll do those 2 bits, call and response again. So they're both just after the click. So it goes 1, 2, 1. Ba 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 da ba. Your turn. 1, 2, 1. Ba 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 da ba. Second one. Ba 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 da ba. Ba 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 da ba. Then we've got the first one again. Ba 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 da ba. Your turn. 2, 1. Ba 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 da ba. Ba da ba da ba da ba. Ba da ba da ba da ba. Really enjoy that bit. Ba da ba da ba da ba. Ba da ba da ba da ba. I'm going to do it all the way through just so you can hear it. So just listen if you want to, and then we'll do it again together and see if we've all got it. So 1, 2, 1. Ba 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 da ba. Ba 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 da ba. And then we have a pause. Ba 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 da ba. Ba da ba da ba da ba. And we're doing the first 2 in one breath, same as we did with the tune. So what we're doing in one breath is ba 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 da ba. Ba 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 da ba. So let's go. 1, 2, 1. Ba 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 da ba. Ba 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 da ba. 1, 2, 1. Ba 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 da ba. Ba da ba da ba da ba. 1, 2, 1. Ba 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 da ba. Ba da ba da ba da ba. Let's try that ba 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 part all the way through a couple of times, and then we'll have a sing through the tune again, and then we'll come back to it next week and see if we can put them together. And it magically will have permeated through your system. Ba. 1, 2, 1. Ba 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 da ba. Ba 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 da ba. 1, 2, 1. Ba 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 da ba. Ba da ba da ba da ba. Ba 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 da ba. Ba 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 da ba. 1, 2, 1. Ba 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 da ba. Ba da ba da ba da ba. Should we see as I walked? Tune again. 1, 2. As I walked under the apple tree, I looked up and what did I see? It wasn't a blossom, it wasn't a bee, it was a juicy red apple waiting for me. And again, 1, 2. As I walked under the apple tree, I looked up and what did I see? It wasn't a blossom, it wasn't a bee, it was a juicy red apple waiting for me. Lovely. And there are apples coming on our apple tree. We've got 3 apple trees in the garden here. One of them is a James Grieve, an Edinburgh apple they do go quite red. And we've got a Ribston Pippin, which they go really quite red. And then at the back, we've got a Laxton Supreme. Oh, we've got another one in the front garden, an East Lothian Pippin that's a cooker, which isn't going to produce any fruit this year. But that's more the sort of big green cookers. So anything you know about the names of apples, do share. They have wonderful names, apples, a lot of really interesting heritage. So the garden song we're going to come to next. I'll maybe just play you the track to listen to this to start with, actually, while you just have a bit of a rest after that red apple. So let me just bring it up on this machine. So just relaxing, letting your breath return back to its normal resting. And this is Dave Mallet, who wrote the song, actually singing it. So hopefully this sound will come through fine. Do let me know if it's not coming through for any reason. So I haven't started it yet, and there we go.
It's a song I wrote a long time ago, and it's been recorded by lots of people. Some of them were my heroes, like Pete Seeger for one, and also the Muppets. It's called The Garden Song. Inch by inch and row by row, gonna make this garden grow. All it takes is a rake and a hoe and a piece of fertile ground. And inch by inch and row by row,
Please bless these seeds I sow.
Someone warm them from below till the rain comes tumbling down. Pulling weeds and picking stones, man is made of dreams and bones. Feel the need to grow my own, 'cause the time is close at hand. And grain for grain, sun and rain, find my way in nature's chain, and tune my body and my brain to the music from the land.
Chorus again.
And inch by inch and row by
row, gonna make this garden grow. All it takes is a rake and a hoe and a piece of fertile ground. Inch by inch and row by row, someone bless these seeds I sow. Someone warm them from below till the rains come tumbling down.
Plant you rows straight and long, temper them with prayer and song. Mother Earth will make you strong if you give her love and care. An old crow watching hungrily from his perch in yonder tree. And in my garden I'm as free as that feathered thief up there.
By inch and row by row, gonna make this garden grow. All it takes is a rake and a hoe and a piece of fertile ground. Inch by inch and row by row, someone bless these seeds I sow. Someone warm them from below till the rain comes tumbling down. So I hope you like that. A great song celebrating gardens and a working person's song, a gardener's song. So we'll start learning it. I just noticed that some of the words that he sings are actually slightly different to the ones that I gave you. If you've got them printed out in the chorus, rather than please bless these seeds I sow and please warm them from below, he sings someone, which is interesting. So let's sing what he actually says. And in the second verse, rather than need a spot to call my own, he says, feel the need to grow my own. Just changing it here, which is rather nice, actually, feel the need to grow my own. And it's particularly pertinent at the moment with all the news about climate change and needing local food. And in the last line of verse 1, sorry, it's to the music from the land, not to the land, of the land. And in verse 2, plant your rows straight and long and temper them rather than season them with a prayer and a song. So I've just changed those. So we are actually singing what Dave Mallet intended. So I will put the words in the chat bit by bit for anyone who doesn't have them. It'll take me a wee while. So this is the chorus first of all. First half of the chorus, second half of the chorus coming. And he says fertile because he's American rather than fertile, which is interesting. So totally up to you if you want to say it the American way or the British way. And then we've got the first half of verse 1 coming. Pulling weeds and picking stones, we are made of dreams and bones. Feel the need to grow my own because the time is close at hand. Oh, too many words. It's doing something really weird here. We are made of dreams and bones. It's telling me I've got lots of characters here, which I haven't. Come on. I think it was taking the spaces annoyingly. Grain for grain, sun and rain. Let me just put this in bit by bit because it's not behaving. Keeps rejecting it. Find my way in nature's chain. Tune my body and my brain to the music of the land. That's probably enough for today anyway. And then the chorus again. The music from the land, sorry. There we go. What it was doing was copying all the spaces I'd got, and so it was telling me I'd got too many words. So let's start learning it. We'll start with the chorus, inch by inch and row by row, gonna make this garden grow. Inch by inch by inch and row by row. 1, 2. Inch by inch and row by row, gonna make this garden grow. Gonna make this garden grow. All it takes is a rake and a hoe. All it takes is a rake and a hoe, and a piece of fertile ground, and a piece of fertile ground. I'll do all that call and response again. There is where we go back to. My turn. Inch by inch and row by row. 1. And inch by inch and row by row, gonna make this garden grow. Gonna make this garden grow. All it takes is a rake and a hoe. All it takes is a rake and a hoe, and a piece of fertile ground, and a piece of fertile ground. And that line we're going to put all in one breath. All it takes is a rake and a hoe and a piece of fertile ground. So I'll do it first of all. All it takes is a rake and a hoe and a piece of fertile ground. 1, 2, and. All it takes is a rake and a hoe and a piece of fertile ground. Let's do it again. 1, 2, and. All it takes is a rake and a hoe and a piece of fertile ground. So let's go up to there. So let's see if we've got it all together. So inch by inch and row by row, and then we release. Gonna make this garden grow. And then the phrase we've just done. So inch, a 1, 2, inch by inch and row by row, gonna make this garden grow. All it takes is a rake and a hoe and a piece of fertile ground. Let's do that once more. Inch, a 1, 2, inch by inch and row by row, release. Gonna make this garden grow, release. All it takes is a rake and a hoe and a piece of fertile ground. And then inch by inch and row by row is exactly the same. Inch by inch and row by row. And then we've got someone bless. Let me just write it on my sheet here or I'll keep singing it wrong and confuse you. And that's the same tune as well. Someone bless these seeds I sow. Someone warm them from below. And then the last bit is slightly different. Till the rain comes tumbling down. Just do that bit. Till the rain comes tumbling down. So I'll do the whole of that long last line. Someone warm them from below till the rain comes tumbling down. Someone warm them from below till the rain comes tumbling down. Once more, 1, 2. Someone warm them from below till the rain comes tumbling down. So let's do the whole of the second half. Inch by inch and row by row, someone bless the seeds I sow. Inch, a 1, and. Inch by inch and row by row, someone bless these seeds I sow. Someone warm them from below till the rain comes tumbling down. Are we nearly there to give it a go all the way through? Or let's do it once more, call and response. Just to really key into the tune, really thinking about releasing from the belly, reducing tension here. So at the end of each phrase, just releasing from the belly. I'll go first. Inch, a 1. Inch by inch and row by row, your turn. Inch by inch and row by row, gonna make this garden grow. Gonna make this garden grow. Long phrase. All it takes is a rake and a hoe and a piece of fertile ground, your turn. All it takes is a rake and a hoe and a piece of fertile ground. Inch by inch and row by row, inch by inch and row by row, someone bless these seeds I sow. Someone bless these seeds I sow. And then the long last phrase. Someone warm them from below till the rain comes tumbling down. Someone warm them from below till the rain comes tumbling down. Let's go all the way through. I'm going to stand. Inch. Super relaxed shoulders, feet grounding down into the ground again. Shoulders up to the ears and back down. And imagine somebody's lifting that imaginary cord, crown of the head. So the body is relaxed, the knees are soft, spine is long, and the body's beautifully aligned to sing your lovely garden song. Inch, a one, and inch by inch and row by row, release. Gonna make this garden grow. All it takes is a rake and a hoe and a piece of fertile ground. Inch by inch and row by row, someone bless these seeds I sow. Someone warm them from below till the rain comes tumbling down. Let's do that once more on the words of the chorus. Inch, a one, and inch by inch and row by row, gonna make this garden grow. All it takes is a rake and a hoe and a piece of fertile ground. Inch by inch and row by row, someone bless these seeds I sow. Someone warm them from below till the rain comes tumbling down. And then the verse is exactly the same tune. So I'll do the words for the first verse. Pulling weeds and picking stones. 1, 2. Pulling weeds and picking stones. We are made of dreams and bones. We are made of dreams and bones. Feel the need to grow my own. Feel the need to grow my own. 'Cause the time is close at hand. 'Cause the time is close at hand. And those two are in one breath. So let's just do that phrase. Feel the need to close at hand. Feel the need to do. Sorry, I'm struggling to pick it up there. Inch by inch and row by row, gonna make this garden grow. Feel I was right. 1, 2, and feel the need to grow my own, 'cause the time is close at hand. Then I'll do the second half bit by bit. Grain for grain, sun and rain. Grain for grain, sun and rain. Find my way in nature's chain. Find my way in nature's chain. Tune my body and my brain to the music from the land. Tune my body and my brain to the music from the land. Whole thing, pulling weeds and picking stones, and then we'll go into the chorus. Pulling weeds, one, and pulling weeds and picking stones. We are made of dreams and bones. Feel the need to grow my own, 'cause the time is close at hand. Grain for grain, sun and rain, find my way in nature's chain. Tune my body and my brain to the music from the land. Inch by inch and row by row, gonna make this garden grow. All it takes is a rake and a hoe and a piece of fertile ground. Inch by inch and row by row, someone bless these seeds as sow. Someone warm them from below till the rain comes tumbling down. Lovely. Let's have a little rest. I hope you enjoyed that. I'm interested if any of you knew it already. It's quite a well-known song. So, I sent out an email today about having an in-person meeting in each area. And I've asked, we can certainly chat about this, anyone who's coming to the Zoom session tomorrow. I've asked for you to let me know where you sit. We're aware that everybody will be at some different place along the scale of, I don't think I would ever go back to singing in person, to I can't wait to go back to singing in person and get away from trying to sing on a computer screen. And we're trying to just gauge where everybody's at so that we can, as well as we can, meet everybody's needs. So our first step is having an in-person meeting in Masobra, which we have an actual date for because it's a bit easier to book a big room there. So we've booked the big gym room at Mecca, the same place where we've always met. So it's a huge big hall. It can be well ventilated. We can be really spaced out, and take all the precautions that we need to. And we're going to meet initially just for a bit of a chat. We're not going to sing. And that's partly just to gauge where people are at in terms of singing. It'd be really lovely to be in the same room again. It'd be really lovely to see you all again, to meet again, and just to kind of reconnect and begin that process very slowly and gently of moving back towards in-person sessions. In Midlothian, it's a little bit more complicated because our usual room, I'm pretty sure, wouldn't be big enough to be well spaced out. I've left a voice message for St Anne's to see how many people they think would fit in that room, but I think we'll need to book a bigger room. There's a possibility of using the church, St John's and King's Park Church in Dalkeith, that we've used before once when St Anne's wasn't available. Dalkeith is good because it's on bus routes from nearly everywhere. So we've got the possibility of using that on a Monday, and that would be earlier on a Monday afternoon. So I would do the session in Dalkeith and then come through to Musselburgh for the session there. So I've asked folk, I know you responded, Senga, thank you. I've asked folk if a Monday would work for that initial session, and also if a Monday would work for ongoing sessions. I've also made inquiries about the Dalkeith Welfare Hall, so we'll see what they say as well. And if you've got any other ideas of venues in Midlothian that are easily accessible on bus routes, somebody suggested the Beacon at Gorebridge, but I think that's probably less easy to get to from, say, Lonehead, Bonnyrigg, and we want everybody to be able to get there. So the other thing to say is we are having our AGM on Monday the 30th of August on Zoom, and everybody is welcome. It's a chance just to kind of celebrate what we've been doing over the past year. It's an official meeting. Every organisation has to have an AGM, particularly a charity, to approve the annual accounts, and that there's a kind of process we need to go through. But it's also a chance to just celebrate a little bit, and we might even have a song, who knows. So you're all welcome. I'll send out a Zoom link for that shortly. That's on Monday the 30th of August from 11 till 12, and that'll be on Zoom. Yes, I'm not sure there's anything else to say. I'll just read out the questions that I put in the questionnaire, actually. So it's I'm asking you to indicate your name and just indicate which of these best describes how you would like to go forward. So just put a tick beside it, or just say my answer is number 3 or number 1 or number 5 or whatever. So number 1 is I would only attend in-person singing sessions. Number 2 is I would only attend online singing sessions at present. Number 3 is I'm keen for in-person singing sessions to start again with COVID safe measures. Number 4, I may attend either in-person or online depending on my health and local infection levels. And number 5, I would like there to still be recorded sessions if possible, so I can attend in my own time. So covering the whole range of options there. And I can't promise that we will also Zoom it because I don't yet know how the technology will work, but I think it's likely that we'll be able to manage to do that. I certainly hope to be able to do that. It will depend on the internet at the different venues. But fingers crossed that we can find a way of doing that, as well as meeting up in person. So a bit more singing. We're going to do a little bit of Gaelic. Do not panic. Ora Vona Vonagan. We're just going to start the first bit of this. It's a Gaelic mouth music song about picking potatoes. It's nearly picking potato time. Not quite. So I'm just going to put the first bit in. This is the phonetic. So this is it written how it sounds, not how you actually write the Gaelic, but it's a lot easier for us to read it. So we'll speak it to start with. I'll say a line first and you say it after me. Ora vona vona gun. 1. And your turn. Ora vona vona gun. Ora vona gonna grai. Ora vona gonna grai. And then the first one again, I'll do it first. Ora vona vona gun. 1 and 2 and ora vona vona gun. H-U hokal oven tat H-U hokal oven tat H-U hokal oven tat H-U hokal oven tat H-U hokal oven tat. I'll say it all again, call and response, and then the rhythm that it's sung as well. Ora vona vona gun. Ora vona vona gun. Ora vona gonna grai. Ora vona gonna grai. Ora vona vona gun. Ora vona vonagan. Hechu hokal avan tat. Hechu hokal avan tat. And what that means is on your bare feet you shall go and lift the potatoes. On your bare feet you shall go and lift the potatoes. And then it goes on in the verses, I'll not let you go to the well, I'll not let you go to the shore, I'll not let you go to the well, you shall go and lift the potatoes. So it's pretty insistent. Oh, sorry, I've just realised my sound setting wasn't on. I hope it's not sounded too horrible. Makes a difference to the sound quality, so apologies if it's been a bit rough. So the tune for this. Ora vona vona gan 1, 2. Ora vona gan. Ora vona gana grai. Ora vona gana grai. And then the next line is exactly the same as the first one in terms of the tune and the words. So it goes, Ora vona gan 1 and 2. And Ora vona gan. Hechu ho calavantat. Hechu ho calavantat. I'll do it all call and response again. First me. Ora vona gan. Ora vona gan. Ora vona gana grai. Ora vona gana grai. Ora vona gan. Ora vona gan. Hechu ho calavantat. Hechu ho calavantat. Ora vona gan. Ora vona gana grai. So we'll put those two together. 1 and Ora vona gan. Ora vona gana grai. And then the last two I'll do. Ora vona gan. Hechu ho calavantat. Your turn. Ora vona gan. Hechu ho calavantat. Should we give that a go all the way through? And we're going to have a little bit of a pause in the middle to release the belly and let the air in. So after grai. Oh. 1, 2, 3, and. Ora vona gan. Ora vona gana grai. And release. Ora vona gan. Hechu ho calavantat. Release. Ora vona gan. Ora vona gana grai. Release. Ora vona gan. Hechu ho calavantat. Release. Ora vona gan. Ora vona gana grai. Release. Ora vona gan. Hechu ho calavantat. Release. How's that going? How's your Gaelic going? Do let me know. Let's just maybe do that round another twice, and then we'll sing Scarborough Fair. We'll sing a really well-known song to finish. Oh, 1, 2. Ora vona gan. Ora vona gana grai. And Ora vona gan. Hechu ho calavantat. Ora vona gan. Ora vona gana grai. Ora vona gan. Hechu ho calavantat. Lovely. And we'll come back to that again next time. So Scarborough Fair, beautiful song. And interestingly enough, when I put the information on the sheet I sent round to you, I'll just read it out in case anybody hasn't had a chance to look at it. So it's a traditional English ballad, but it's a variant of the Elfin Knight, which is a Scots song, and it lists a number of impossible tasks given to a former lover who lives in Scarborough in North Yorkshire. The Scarborough Fair variant was most common in the north and northeast of England, where it was sung to various melodies with refrains resembling Parsley, Sage, Rosemary and Thyme, and Then She'll Be a True Love of Mine. The famous melody, which uses the Dorian mode, typical of the Middle English period, was collected from Mark Anderson, a retired lead miner from Middleton in Teesdale, County Durham, England, by Ewan MacColl, the folk singer, in 1947. This version was recorded by a number of musicians in the 20th century, including the version by Simon and Garfunkel, who learnt it from Martin Carthy. And the lyrics appear to have something in common with a Scottish ballad titled The Elfin Knight, also known as Child Ballad No. 2, collected by Francis James Child, and it's been traced as far back as 1670, so really, really quite old song. In this ballad, an elf threatens to abduct a young woman to be his lover unless she can perform an impossible task. And she responds with a list of tasks that he must perform. Dozens of versions existed by the end of the 18th century. A number of older versions refer to locations other than Scarborough Fair, including Whittingham Fair, Cape Ann, twixt Berwick and Lyne, etc. And many versions don't mention a place name and are often generically titled The Lover's Tasks or My Father Gave Me an Acre of Land. So a real sort of rich folk history there. So let me just pop the words here. It's behaving this time, so hopefully we'll be a little bit quicker. And then back to the first verse to finish. And this song lends itself quite well to breathing, each line, a breath per line. Are you going to Scarborough Fair? Your turn. And are you going to Scarborough Fair? Parsley, sage, rosemary and thyme. Parsley, sage, rosemary and thyme. We might need to go a bit lower. You going? Let's try there. I'll do it line by line, and then we'll see if we can sing it along with Simon and Garfunkel to finish. Actually, it's a beautiful version. I'll do it line by line, just so we can relax into it, keeping those lovely vowel sounds at the end of each line. So Scarborough Fair, and keeping that going. So I'll do a first line. Are you going to Scarborough Fair? 1, 2. Are you going to Scarborough Fair? Parsley, sage, rosemary and thyme. Parsley, sage, rosemary and thyme. Remember me to one who lives there. Remember me to one who lives there. She once was a true love of mine. She She once was a true love of mine. So remembering to release from the belly, to keep pushing all the way through. Let's just sing it once through on our own, and then I'll bring up Simon and Garfunkel and we'll sing it all the way through. But really focusing on keeping the breath going all the way through. See if you can increase the effort almost a little bit towards the end, and then just releasing from the belly, letting the air in, that lovely round belly. 1, 2. Are you going to Scarborough Fairlies? Parsley, sage, rosemary and thyme. Remember me to one who lives there. She once was a true love of mine. Lovely. Let's sing it along with the Simon and Garfunkel version. So that's just about us. Let's just come back to being seated here, being aware of the whole body, just allowing the body and mind to come to rest for a moment after this singing session together. And being aware of any sensations present in the body. Maybe giving a bit of thanks to our body for all it does to us. Thanks to our lungs for enabling us to sing. Thanks to our beautiful voices. And thanks for all these lovely songs. So see you next week. And lovely to see you again, and have a good week.